And we are live in some of the places. I I was live like 30 seconds ago as well, or I thought I was. I pressed the go live button and forgot the StreamYard has a confirmation go live button, which I forgot to check. And then now I press the go live button in Facebook and we go poof. So hope everyone is having a fabulous week. I am having a fabulous week. Um, for for I don't know. I was gonna say like unrelated reasons, but they aren't unrelated. They're actually like art and creativity related reasons. Um, we have a walk-up attic above our garage that was never finished, and we have this small human who lives in our house with us who is all about art, about painting, making slime, designing stickers, crocheting, all sorts of things. So we're giving her her own workshop, and it's nearing completion. The walls are done. The electrical's about half done. The sheetrock's done. We're just wrapping up the paint now, and then I've got to do the flooring this weekend. So I got to lay down like plywood and then lay down the flooring, and then she's going to have this amazing workshop, which I am super excited about. So let me do my everyone post. Bye, folks are here. Good morning, Kate. How are you doing? At everyone. There we go. That took a moment. Talking. I should be better at talking while I'm doing this. I need a co-host. Jill, where are you? No, Jill's on the phone right now, so she can't help me. Um, but yeah, so it's been fun. I've been feeling really good. It's kind of crazy. I've wanted to finish that attic um, since we moved in 15 years ago to this house, and now it's finally happening, and it feels really good. Um, and it's one of the things that I guess kind of was daunting is thinking about having to insulate the attic because I don't it's a oven in the summer and a fridge in the winter, so that's got to be all properly insulated. So I've been learning a lot about that, and I got to do this past weekend. I did blow-in insulation in the floor between the attic and the garage, so I had to like cut holes in the floor and do the blow-in and then fill the holes back up. And I did insulation up top with baffles and all sorts of things. I did a good job, and I'm very happy about myself. Working on ads now? Oh my god, the PC turned up. Well, hopefully everything all the time. So um, that part you'll at least be good. But if you're like in Photoshop or something, that sucks. I'm sorry. I guess that's a plug for doing your ads in Canva or something like that. Your ad images, at least, that then Canva's going to save and Facebook will save, and that can certainly help a lot. I am curious though. Has anyone seen or had like some decreases in sales through the middle of August? Have you seen things kind of dip down a bit? And if so, what have you done to combat that? Or have you not seen that? Has August been super strong? That'd be awesome to hear about as well. Um, it is traditionally a time of year where things do slow down a bit. There's two periods in the year where I feel like there's actually pretty pronounced slowdown, and one of them's at the beginning of summer, and one of them's at the end of summer. Um, the beginning one's kind of long because schools kind of end across a really long spectrum of time. Um, and they tend to start up in sort of a more tighter period of time, but it's kind of like mid to late July, June into early July. And then you get like 3 weeks that are pretty good in the middle of the summer. And then it happens again toward the end of August. Oh, I hope the document auto save for you too, Monique. That would be awful if it didn't, because yeah, keywords are the sort of thing that don't save. But yeah, so how do you combat that when that happens, when you get these slow times? And there are other slow times too. There's usually a slow time in February. Early February usually slows down a bit, and then things kind of slowly pick up in March and April. And because February is short by 3 days, usually, you definitely feel it even more because if you're making $100 a day, or if you're making $500 a day, let's say, it actually becomes more pronounced the more money you make. Um, and you miss those 3 days, that's $1,500 that you go down in February. So you can kind of be like, why is this happening? And yes, I recognize that February is not like months are only 30 days, so February is only 2 days shorter than those. But December and January are both 31-day months. It's kind of weird how we have back-to-back 31-day months twice in the year. Uh, I don't know why that's interesting. It just is interesting. August has been very up and down. So I'm running UK ads, and I think that's helped. I've actually got a couple authors I'm doing UK ads for too, and and they're actually some of them are going like gangbusters. We're having really good results with UK ads, um, which I'm quite happy with. Um, Not everybody does well, but if your book, there, people in the UK have slightly different things they appreciate. But if your book is has a bit more of a global feel, and you are like light on American terms of phrase, it can also be a little bit more appealing. That's actually something I do in my writing. I actually like try to go light on really regional idioms and turns of phrase. It's a little bit easier for me coming from Western Canada, now living in Boston, so I can kind of see like these are terms that didn't exist in the other place. Um, that can kind of help. And also, I write far future sci-fi, so I'm also really careful not to use turns of phrase that I think are very apropos to the time that we live in right now, which can help too. But yeah, UK ads can definitely go well. They have very different result rates though. Like you can get far lower result rates in Facebook. You know, like maybe you normally get like a 6 to an 8% result rate in Facebook when you're looking at Facebook ads. Um, and then you get a certain conversion from that, and you'll find that in the UK you might get like 4 to 6% result rate, but you can still get good conversions. So I think people in the US tend to just to click on ads a lot more, and people in the UK only click on them if they're actually interested. um, I'm not sure if that's a global thing. It's just something I've definitely seen across a lot of ads, that that lower result rates in Facebook are normal, but that doesn't necessarily mean you'll get lower conversions. um, Oh, that's good. I'm glad that's should still be there in Publisher Rocket, Monique. Um, but yeah, I have seen a lot of people whose ads did dip mid August, that they started to climb again as well. So I think generally we should be seeing this. It's actually a little surprising. Usually the climb back up doesn't happen this early. It doesn't usually happen until next Friday or next Thursday, Friday, before Labor Day weekend, or well, I forget what it's called in UK. But it doesn't usually happen till then. There is usually a dip after Labor Day weekend for like a day. But honestly, one of the best ways to combat that is drop a book to 99 cents and send out a newsletter on Labor Day. And you can use my favorite tried and true lines: tired of your families yet, family? Go read a book. Um, I should think of a positive version of that. Worn out after a long day of partying in the sun, cozy up with a book. Something like that. That might be nice. See, Pippa says ads a bit crap this month, but I've got some pre-orders which will bump up the income by the end of the month. Yeah, that's always a good idea, to think about. Sometimes you want to make your books um be more focused on like when's the best time to release like this new book one in a given series. But then you're like, you know what? I need, August is a slow month. I need to bump up my sales in August. That's why I'm going to release book two, because I can get that bump. I can even out that month to make sure my income is more steady. Because steady income, the flatter your royalties can be, the better. It's easier for you to plan and deal with. You don't have that uncertainty going around. Although, when you are doing something like being an author, there's always going to be some uncertainty. Like no matter what we do, our income is going to be lumpy. And that's kind of just the way around it. There's no way around it. But the great thing is that once we get over that Labor Day hump, it is a steady upward march to Christmas, where you can do better and better every month between now and Christmas is just going to get better and better for sales. With the exception of the week after American Thanksgiving. I always remind people that's a volatile week. Um, and I also recommend not releasing books in the week after American Thanksgiving. It's usually bad juju, because everybody just blew all their money on Black Friday deals, and they don't have any money till they get paid again in November. It's totally how it goes. Something that did happen earlier this month with one of my authors that I run ads for, um, was pretty wild. So there was a period where I am like 99.9% sure that Facebook was scaling people's ads on its own, even though there were no auto scaling rules in place. Because you can set rules in Facebook that say like, hey, if these certain thresholds are met, auto scale my ad up to this point. Um, this author didn't, and I've actually worked with a number of authors over the summer where we both swore up and down that we did not set this price, and auto scaling wasn't turned on, but yet the books were at this price. And usually I can tell because I generally only increase books to like by fives, and these books were running at $62 a day. um but and I saw it happen not long after it actually happened. But the crazy thing is the books took off. So these ads we started, they were ads for reels, or sorry, they were ads for her books, and they were reels. and they bumped up to $62 a day pretty much immediately. Um, and it worked. They were getting 5 cents per click, and they were converting really well, better than Reels normally do, because Reels are usually cheap but have a lower conversion rate. These were having a good conversion rate and being 5 cents per click. Yeah, and so we got in our call today. I'm like, so did you notice anything with your royalties in the last few weeks? And she's like, did I ever? And turns out that book one in this series paid for the ads on its own without even calculating read through. It was pretty awesome. Um, and it's really solidifying my belief that um, while reels don't work in every single case for everyone, they work so much that I think they're really worth playing with and trying for every author. Is launching mid-November a good idea? Um, I think that you're going to want to, let's see, when is American Thanksgiving this year? Let's go look. Best to have real numbers. August, September, October, November. I'm already, I don't want to be in November. I went too far. Wait, when is it? Oh, wait. I'm Canadian. So sometimes I'm looking for, I get confused because Canadian Thanksgiving is in October. um, so this year, American Thanksgiving is on the 28th. So it's actually pretty late in the month. So I would think if you were to I would not launch a book the week of Thanksgiving. So um, no later than the 24th. But if you were to launch your book, even up to like the end of um, the 17th to the 23rd, which is the third week of November, I think that'd be fine. I think you'd be okay to do that because that'll give you like enough time for people to really sink their teeth into the book before Thanksgiving hits. But if you could go a week earlier than that, it might be better. But I don't think it'll be detrimental to do it um, the third week of November. Actually, I guess the 17th to the 23rd is kind of the fourth week because November starts on a Friday. But 17th to the 23rd should be fine. I would prefer, if it were me, I would really aim for the 10th to the 16th, though, for when I would launch in November. And then launching up and around Christmas is amazing. In fact, I feel like every author now, you should have your Christmas launch plan in place, whether it's you're launching an omnibus, whether you're launching a new book, whether you're launching a novella, um, some like epilogues that you've been sitting on or stuff on the cutting room floor that you want to roll out. Like you should be launching something on the 24th or the 25th of December. They are fabulous days for launches. They work really well. Um, I've because that week between Christmas and New Year's, most people are just sitting on their duffs, right? They've got so much time to read. They've got Amazon gift cards. It's always a killer week for getting a lot of good book action going on. So I'm all about it. Um, but yeah, so definitely be playing with reels. I'm a really big believer in that. If you're already doing reels on Instagram and TikTok, then you can just leverage those and try them for Facebook ads. This author that we had this success with, it was a TikTok reel, um, and we just changed the audio on them and then run them as ads, and it's working like a charm. Any tips or best practices for running a Reels ad to an omnibus? To be honest, I don't think that the way that you promote omnibuses should be significantly different than how you promote um, standalones. I guess with a few exceptions. So I'll walk that back actually now that I've said it. If your series is a linear series that's read in order, then you sort of even if it's an omnibus, you're kind of just pimping book one. And then the people land on omnibus and they're like, oh yay, I'm going to get to read all these books for a low price or for free because it's in Kindle. So for the serial story, your promotion for the omnibus should be pretty much the same. If you are writing a series of connected standalones in an omnibus, then you do want to talk a little bit more about the broader plot. um, like maybe it's a romance following a group of brothers or something like that. Then you actually your copy on the reel should be talking about the brothers a little bit or something like that. So but I don't generally actually talk about it being a collection of books verbally. I just show a 3D omnibus picture at the end, so it's clear, like, oh, this is about a grouping of books. Um, because I want to keep my reel about the emotion of the characters and the emotion and stories, like four hot brothers living in small town Texas, are ready to take you by storm or something like that. Um, Like that would be kind of like I want to keep it in that emotion and that oh, you know what? I just thought of something. If they're going to take you by storm, they should be tornado chasers, obviously, right? Um, but I would focus on that because I want that emotional connection. Because what we are, we're dopamine sellers, right? We're selling those sweet, sweet dopamine hits when people are reading this story and they're getting their feels out of it. Um, I don't want to make it about the transaction or the value of the transaction, unless it's free. I will mention if it's free. If I'm doing a reader magnet, I will mention it's free. But if it's not free, I'm not talking about the transaction. I'm talking about the emotion. Judy says, if you're going to do a TV interview, should you run an ad before the interview or right after the interview? You could totally do an awareness ad. And when you do ads, you can actually target a region. So you could pick like Boston. And I think the smallest you can go is like 5 miles around Boston, but you could set the range. So wherever you think is a good range around the target. I would run an awareness ad, probably start like 3 or 4 days before the interview is going to go live, and maybe even a couple days after the interview goes live. Um, I think that would actually be a fabulous idea because it takes a couple of exposures before people might purchase. So you could totally run those. Just run like a $10 awareness ad for 5 days, a couple days before, a couple days after, um, and get some more eyeballs on it and get some people that are like when they see you in the interview, like, oh yeah, I heard about this author. And if you do run the ad, kind of depends on the interview. If your interview is going to be focused really heavy on the book, then make sure that the ad is including the imagery of the book. So people are going to see that book on TV, and then you want them to see the book in the ad and make that connection. If the interview is going to be really focused on you as an author, then have the ad talk about you. Be like, talking about like author XYZ, who wrote this book, recently appeared on local TV show, um, kind of thing. So it depends a bit on the interview, but yeah, I do it when I'm going to be doing like I sell books at places like Comic Con and stuff like that, which is great. Like if you write any sort of like sci-fi fantasy, you can actually sell a lot of books at Comic Cons, and I'll run ads before the Comic Con just so that when people see my booth, it's less likely to be the very first time they see my brand. That they'll have actually be like, oh yeah, Aeon 14 and this weird girl who wears cat suits. I've seen that before, and that can really work pretty well too. Oh, I'm getting parched here. But it's the big thing with ads is in times of years. Do think about like disruption. When are people's lives likely to be more disrupted? Because we tend to like sit down and read when we're comfy. Not always, but it's sort of a normal thing. And if our lives are disrupted, things are changing, we're traveling. Those are times when people might read a little bit less. So you have to be prepared for that. Um, and maybe you have to fight a bit more to get to the top of the heap and get that attention that you want to have as well. And leveraging sales are always a great way of doing that, and then doing swaps with other authors, being like, I'm going to put like all of my first books in every one of my series on for 99 cents. I'm going to make a cool landing page on my website. I'm going to swap with other authors and have them send people to the landing page, and they can select from one of these four 99-cent books, or they can select from all of them. Because you do that and a lot of people buy that 99-cent book, Amazon's algorithms like, oh, this book is selling a little bit more right now, and it might give you a boost to your AMS ads, and it might give you a little bit of organic boost as well. It will actually definitely boost your AMS ads. Because one of the things that AMS takes into account is whether or not the book is likely to convert. Because Amazon wants to make money on both sides of the transaction, right? They want to make money on the ad, and then they want to make money on the sale. And if they can get money from both of them, all the better. So they're more likely to sell books that convert. And if you run a 99-cent sale, you can kind of prime Amazon. Amazon's like, wow, this book actually converts really well. Whenever people land on this page, they just buy the book. So it's more likely to show your AMS ad. So they can kind of dovetail nicely like that. I just did an interview right before this with Steph Pajonas and Danica Favorite. Steph runs Future Fiction Academy, and her and Danica have a podcast called Brave New Bookshelf. So that's why I'm a little bit raspy because I just talked for an hour right before this. So I'm like I'm sucking back all the water here. And before that, I've been sanding and painting in the attic that I was describing at the beginning of the call, which I'm super stoked about. It's really fun to take a bare space that you've just been storing random crap in for 15 years and then um, uh, turn it into like a nice room with like nice clean walls and everything. Oh, hey, Dharma, it's been a while. How are you doing? Um, Something that if you're interested in that we have coming up How's about now? How now, brown cow? Okay, looks like I'm good. Yeah, I got this message saying my browser lost connection to my mic. Can you guys hear me now? Like Verizon commercial. That's like, in a couple of years, that's gonna be one of those things like, are you this old? And it's got the Verizon commercial. Awesome. I am glad that you guys can hear me. So yeah, we're doing our advanced Facebook ads workshop starts next week. It's going to be 6 to 8 weeks. We advertise it as 6. I'm long-winded. It's going to be 8. It's all about like how to like really get the most out of Facebook ads, advanced analysis, all sorts of different tactics, working with you on creating the actual creative itself. Um, and then testing creative and all sorts of things like that, talking about targeting and how the AI works and cool things like that. So if you're down for that, starts next week. It's going to run for 8 weeks. And then we're also doing our membership. You probably got an email from Jill saying that we're not doing one-on-one consulting anymore. And that's because we're moving to more group teaching stuff because I just can't scale myself far enough. To do lots of one-on-one consulting and still have it be affordable for everybody. So that's why we're moving to more group teaching, but it's going to involve lots of touch points. And absolutely do reach out to myself or Jill if you're interested in that. I believe that the first month we're only taking on a certain number of people to our membership every month, so that we're not overwhelmed because I'm going to be doing intake calls with everybody, all sorts of stuff. And so I think we're over half full now, and the first month is in October. So if you really would like to get in on that in our membership, which is going to be as much about it's going to be about like author community and learning. The group learning I think is like actually one of the most powerful things because so often when I'm doing one-on-one consulting with people, we're looking at the thing they're trying to do right now and the problem they're facing right now. But what they're going to be, the problem they're facing in 6 months might be entirely different. But if you're doing group learning, someone will be like, hey, I'm having this particular problem or I'm trying to do this thing. What do you recommend? And you're not going to do that for a year. When that year comes, you're going to be like, that's right. Person XYZ did it. They talked about it and I saw their results and I saw what they did. So it's really powerful there. Um, Dharma says, oh, I didn't see you were in YouTube before. What way were you changing the audio on Reels to make them into Instagram ads? I just stripped the audio out, actually. Sometimes I'll add generic audio, but I found it doesn't really seem to matter. No audio works just as well. However, one thing you can do is you can take the reel um, and you can load it up into Instagram. So say you made the reel on TikTok, you can load it up into Instagram and tell Instagram you're making an ad with it, and you'll actually get some audio that you can use that you're licensed to use on Meta for ads, and you can put some of that audio in and then save it and then load it normally into the Facebook ad manager. That's pretty roundabout way of doing it, but does get you like licensed audio that can actually be like some pretty good audio in there. But again, a lot of times I just strip the audio out. I don't even worry about it. Um, but I also use stock.adobe.com. There's actually some pretty cool audio on there as well. That some of it has vocals and everything, and it's pretty good and it can work really well. So so yeah, that's kind of my spiel for today. I'm kind of short because I feel like my throat's all raspy and I'm having trouble talking. But I'm super, like I said, I'm super stoked about this membership. That's like the membership and the attic. I'm stoked about both of these things right now, and they're wildly different, but they're both pretty cool. Can you use Canva licensed audio? Yeah, because with Canva, you have commercial license for the audio, so you can absolutely use that too. I think they've got like a decent library. I like Adobe's library better, um, but I haven't like really explored Canva's library deeply. I've just looked at some other things and thought that's okay, but I like Adobe's better because Adobe you can like have these cool filters of like does it have vocals, not have vocals, what BPM do you want, all sorts of things like that. So it's pretty cool. Does anybody else have any questions or anything they're struggling with right now, or anything like you did recently that you're like super excited about and just kind of want a moment to crow about it? Sorry, we lost audio again. I'm going to change my mic to this audio is going to be worse, but it's using my webcam, so hopefully it won't cut out.
So someone said, so Pippa said that she's launching some books this month. Um, that's pretty cool. I'm curious what you have coming out. I think that'd be neat to hear about. Dharma, you're doing bookbinding? Does that mean you're taking like soft covers and turning them into hard covers, or what? That's pretty wild. It was clipping. Man, why are you doing me like this? That's not okay. I was just talking with someone recently about how the computer I'm using right now is a bit of a Frankenstein. And it's been behaving really well. But I kind of wonder if like some of the Frankenstein aspects of it are part of the problem. It's running, for those of you who are into this sort of thing, it's running an engineering sample CPU, which is like not like designed for production use. And that it's a mobile engineering sample CPU, and it's been soldered by like a Chinese manufacturer where they basically harvest old components and then build new Frankenstein things out of them. It's been this new CPU. The CPU has been soldered onto like a desktop motherboard, so it's like this crazy, insane thing. Um, so Dharma says, I've been creating some blank journals and also plan on doing some limited edition handbound hardcovers of my thrillers. Now that's really cool. I actually had a reader who, before I had hardcovers for one of my series, she actually got my soft covers custom bound into hardcovers, which is super cool. And she had like, I think, and she got some custom art made for one of my main characters that had that put on. And then she also got one of my main characters tattooed on her body, which is crazy. So Monique says, I just launched book 16 of one series, and book 17 from another series comes out next week. Then it's back to expanding books. Damn, them's just a lot of books. If you have good read through all the way through there, I think that's why you're expanding, right? Because you're lengthening some of the early ones, so you get so expectations are more lined up. Is that what, if I remember correctly from a previous time? For Pippa, it's the sixth book in her cozy mystery series, The Sea Castle Mysteries. I publish about every 3 months, but I'll be publish a Christmas book. Yes. I jumped to the series next in November. I was interested to hear your comments. I think that's a fabulous idea. I think that the Christmas books are great too because you just get like this built-in marketing wrapped around that book, and then once you make that Christmas book, it becomes an asset that you can promote every year, and then you can use it for like Christmas in July and all sorts of other stuff like that. So that is really good. Um, that's why one of the things that bugs like I don't like about my sci-fi that I've written is that there's like I can't use Christmas. It's too far in the future for them to have Christmas. So um, so I don't have that. But every now and then I debate having them go to some random planet where they celebrate Christmas, and they're like, "What the heck is this thing?" And I get to write like a cute Christmas story or something like that. I remember correctly. That's awesome, Moni. Um, but yeah, and in November, I almost I almost wonder if you better do that early December and really capitalize on the Christmas spirit. Because if you do it in November, you've got to do it before Thanksgiving, like a well before Thanksgiving. I might almost want to do that in December for doing the Christmas release. But then again, the season does go a long way. I think no, I would probably do it mid-November. Um, in a perfect world, I'd love to test both and see what works, but we don't have that option all the time. I'm gonna keep the Christmas book out of KU so I can use a reader magnet. And yeah, that's fabulous. That's a great idea. And like do it as I'm guessing it's gonna be a bit shorter. I think you said novella, right? Oh no, you didn't. Not a novella. Is it gonna be or are we gonna price it $2.99? Are you gonna go for like a full price, like $3.99 or $4.99 on that? That's pretty cool. But yes to Christmas books, definitely. I think it's like the only season that you can really do that with too. Like you can't imagine the season. Like you can't write an Easter book or like a Thanksgiving book or something like that. I mean, I guess you could do Thanksgiving in certain genres, but it'd be more like it could be like a family drama or women's fiction or something like that that has like a lot of takes place at Thanksgiving, but it really wouldn't be a Thanksgiving book. Novella. Okay, cool. I think that's the best thing to do. I generally don't think it's worth doing a full length novel. If your series is all full length and then doing a full length Christmas novel, because there are some people who will skip the Christmas book. So I feel like novella is a better way to capitalize on things. You get almost the same amount of money for way less effort, and then you don't have to feel like you don't have to feel like, oh, I should be trying to do more with this book, because it's not what it's for. So yeah, very cool. All right, folks. Well, I think I'm going to jet because, like I said, my voice is wonky, and I have a call right after this that I need to figure out why my mic keeps cutting out as well. So I got to dig into that. But it was awesome to talk with all of you today. And again, if you're interested in that advanced Facebook class that we're running, I think we have one spot left in that. It starts next week. So do reach out about that if you're keen. And then I think it's on the 15th. Yeah, the 15th of September, which is actually Jill and my anniversary. I'm doing a class on how to build super fans like Marvel and Star Wars do, and touch on a lot of cool things in there. So that's pretty exciting. And then we have our membership that we're doing now, and we're about half full on the first cohort that starts up in October. So reach out to me or reach out to Jill if you're keen on any of those things. And I will see all of you guys next Thursday. Have a fabulous weekend.